part of the Parikrama series, and today we are going to discuss about the different models of disabilities, often also called the models of integration. But before we go to the different models of disabilities, let us understand certain terms. Let's revisit them. Now look, one word is inequality. Do you see the tree there? It is inclined towards one side. Who will be able to get the apples more? The place towards which the tree is inclined. This is exactly what is happening in the education system when there are inequalities in the system. The education system is more geared to certain type of learners. And this is why people with disabilities, people with diversities are not able to take full advantage of the education system. For example, if you do not have ramps, then person who is on a wheelchair cannot be part of all the activities in the school. So the stairs is actually geared towards certain type of learners. If in the classroom I don't use pictures like this, if I don't use audiovisual aid, if I don't modulate my voice, then the child with specific learning disability tends to be at a disadvantage. So coming to the next one, that's inequality. Now look at the point of equality. What does the word equality say? That everyone should get equal opportunities. Now look at this picture here. What do you see? So both the sides have been given ladders which are of equal distance. So everyone is getting that extra resources. So everyone is getting those good textbooks. Everyone is getting those good uniforms. The room is well lit. But the basic system of the teaching learning process in the classroom is still bent towards certain students. So although everyone is getting those resources, in this case the ladder of equal distance, but it is still benefiting only some. So it is not equality which is required, so that the best potential, the best ability, the best out of each child is elicited. We can take that out. Holistic development can happen. What we need is equity. Equity is when the person who needs something gets that thing more. If there is a child who is blind, then books in braille are required, like the ones that we are showing here. But supposing there is a child who is dyslexic or is blind or is specific learning disability, then in that case they will benefit if the book is in the form of audio. So you have those books for persons who need them most. So now what will happen in this type of equity? That many of the students who have diversity or disability will benefit. But the system is not really changing a lot. It is like, we will talk about this later on, what is integration. You let the students come into the classroom, but the system is not changing, just giving them some extra privileges and so on. Then what can we do so that everyone has equal access to whatever teaching learning processes, pedagogy, the abilities which are different for different people? We need to do what is called justice or inclusion. We need to focus upon bending or shifting the education system or the tree with the apples in such a way that it is a win-win situation for everyone. That is justice, or that is inclusion. So Just to give you another example of the difference between equality and equity. Equality, everyone's got the same type of cycles, but the person on the wheelchair can still not use it. Equity, the cycles are modified as per the need of everyone. But look at the road, the teaching learning process is such that all the cycles can move equally well on that road. So this is what is the difference between equity and equality. Now let's go to the four different aspects. Exclusion, the system is not changing. The system is not even tolerating people with differences or with disabilities. They are, see in this case, they are outside the circle. Nothing is actually being done by them, for them. Segregation, it is, if you see that small circle and the larger circle, most of the majority of the people are here, and this small circle has some people, they are being recognized that yes, there are people with disability, but no, it's only being tolerated. They may be pitied. We will be talking about these models. The charity model. Okay, now comes to integration. In integration, we say, okay, come in, come, be part of us. But how do we change? You will have to change. Then comes where we say, okay, become part of us. We will change the system for you. And the social environment will be such that it becomes a win-win situation for everyone. People with disability and the people who are supposedly non-disabled. That in the case of inclusion, the teaching learning processes will be such that differentiated instructions, universal design of teaching and learning, universal design of architecture will be part of that system. Let's move with this background to the different models of disability. The first is, the traditional model was anyone who was different, you cannot be part of our society. Out. Just so in fact, in places like Rome, etc., the person with disability used to be thrown down the hill, right? So they were, in our country, it was called karm hai. Karm ki wajah se aisa hai. This is the punishment of God. It is the will of God. You better to end their lives than live a life of pain. Ask a person who has disability or diversity, will they just want to die? They also have a desire to live. So this was the traditional model. Then came the charity model. Now what did the charity model say? It was based on sympathy. I am better than you. So what do? I pity you and I give you some amount of resources. Maybe I'll give you money, maybe I'll provide food for you, and so on. But you are not the same as I am. You are a burden to society, but I'm such a nice person. Society is so nice, so we give you something so you can also live. So the status in the case of charity model of the person with disability is a lower social status. And what will families do? They will try to hide the person. What will the society look at them as? Objects of pity. And they will be humiliated in their relationships also. That is the charitable model. So in the case of the charity model, what is it? It is killing with kindness. Used to be taken care of. You cannot be independent. They are looked as tragic, sad situations. Focus on what they cannot do. Their limitations are looked at, not strengths. These short terms of relief, and they are considered to be bitter, twisted, different, horrible people. Their needs and the needs and special services are provided to them, but remain away from society. But this does not lead to any real change. And based on this, protection and not empowerment of the person is focused. So independence is not looked as possibility for the person with disability in the case of the charity model. And it is the hero syndrome. I have given you something, so I am the hero, right? I am better than you. Oh, you feel so nice because you have given them some money, you've given them some food, you've given them a house, you've donated a wheelchair. So this is what the charity model does. Comes to the medical model. In the case of the medical problem, as in the earlier two, the person with disability is considered to be the problem. Society is not considered to be the problem, right? Disability is considered to be a health problem, a medical issue. And what do we do in the medical, in hospitals? We try to cure people. When people are sick or people have any disease, it is infectious or non-infectious, what do? They take them to the hospital, the best treatment is given to them, medicines are given to them, good diet is given to them, but you cannot go and do all your regular activities till you become okay. Now just trying to do the same thing with the person with disabilities. Here is a person who does not have a limb, doesn't have the left hand. So what will the medical model say? You are the problem because you do not have one hand. Okay, we will provide an artificial good hand to you, but you have to learn to use it exactly like everyone else does. When you can do it, then you can go and sit for exams, then you can do other things and so on. But supposing such a thing is not possible, supposing the person does not have, is dyslexic, we cannot change the brain of the person. So the person is considered that you have to become cured, only then can you become part of society. The person has autism, inflexible behavior, fixed in certain ways of doing certain things. Now you expect that person to completely change like others, become like others. Medical model, which is not so possible, and therefore they are considered that they cannot be, the problem is with them, the problem is not with the society, is the under cause of the medical model. Now come to so what are we doing in the medical model? We are providing sheltered workshops, special school, special transport, special educators, psychologists, social workers, doctors, hospitals, OT, PT, ST, everything. But we are looking at the person as a person who is the main problem. This is interesting to note the difference between the medical model and the next model that I will be talking about. The medical model says that he cannot come and vote because he is disabled. But he is on a wheelchair, she is on a wheelchair, she cannot climb the steps. Your problem, not our problem, is what the medical model says. What does the social model say? He cannot vote or she cannot vote because the stairs prevent him from reaching the ballot box. So what do? We define another way of seeing that instead of the stairs, there's some other way of seeing that the person reaches the ballot box. What could those be? We change the infrastructure. we have a ramp, or we have a lift, or we bring the ballot box down. The problem is not that the person cannot vote, the problem is in the infrastructure of the society. And society recognizes that and accepts that. The person with disability is given value. Now, look at this one. This is what is a very clear example of a medical model. You see the dog here? This is a helping dog, a helper dog. The person is blind, which is obvious with the goggles, etc. that is wearing. The person at the reception, can you see what is he saying? Can't you read? It says no dogs. A, he is blind, how can he see? Second, in this case, this is a helping dog. The other dogs are not allowed, but this is a trained dog, which is part of the human being who is blind. So there has to be an exception. In the medical model, no. You change, learn how to come without any help. But in the social model, it says, okay, for you it is an exception, no problem, bring your dog and we will help. Oh, you can't see what is written there? I will tell you what is there. We also have a braille book. Would you like to read it on the braille? That is what the social model says. So the social model leads to having children, all children, in the same classroom. That is mainstreaming and inclusion. The person with disability is not the problem. The public attitude is constructive and positive. Labeling is generally avoided. And people with disability, it is okay, it is their right to come and participate in community life. And there are opportunities provided for persons with disability, not out of charity or of pity, because they are capable of doing certain type of things. So everyone goes into professions in which they are better at. Similarly, persons with disabilities, their strengths are explored, are identified. They're given encouraged to engage in improving their strengths and not focusing. The society does not only focus on their limitations. They are allowed to be, not allowed, they are accepted as a regular part of public spaces. And families are skilled, are taught by professionals how to be more proactive, not to feel horrible about having people with disabilities as a part of their family, but as much loved contributing members of the family and society. So we are saying that social model is because of the problem, it's because of badly built buildings, stairs or ramps not being there, schools not appropriately having people with well-trained teachers, administrators, policies and so on. And discrimination has to be decreased in the social model. Families are not allowed to be isolated. They are encouraged to be part of the system. Proper job prospects are given to them. So this is what a class according to the play field, according to the social model will look like. And so we have here the medical model. The child is faulty. In the social model, the child is natural. In the medical model, diagnosis has to be done, labeling has to be done, and impairment is focusing on what are the impairments and how to improve them. And so therapy has to be given, assessment has to be done, is the main focus. In the case of social model, the strengths and needs of the person are defined and focused upon. The outcome is so designed to get more and more strengths in the person. The resources are made available for ordinary services, that is audio-visual aids, audio-visual TLM material in the class for everyone to use. Reading books, speech to text, ramps, side rails in toilets, buttons in the lift at arm length, which is good for everyone. So it is not only meant, not only the person with disability is allowed to use them, but it's for everyone, and it benefits more the person with disability and others as well. So this is the social model, and then we come to the rights model. The rights model says that recognize that disability is a part of society. It is more comprehensive and global. It is everywhere. It's okay. It is my right. And as a person with disability, I need to reclaim their places as persons with rights and duties. So equal opportunity and full participation in political and social life. This is what the human rights model says. And why do these disabling conditions happen? They are because of these four reasons. Environmental barriers, organizational barriers, communication barriers, and attitudinal barriers. And as and when we remove this, we will find that different people have different perspectives. And the faster we are able to understand that perspectives can change and can be different, then we will be able to move from the charity model to the medical model to the social model and finally to the human rights model. Thank you, and next time we will be interacting on the other aspects of disability. Thank you.